Top of the morning, everybody. It is Podcast Unlocked, episode 198.
Oh, yeah.
We're on the cusp of episode 200 greatness. That is scheduled to happen, so here's how it's going to go.
We have details.
Yes.
Final details, real details.
Next week, we'll have an episode 199, although... Sean Finnegan, are we going to be able to have a video of that episode? Because the whole video team is breaking down.
Are we going to have
That
equipment?
is a good
Is that going to be an audio-only episode?
We'll shoot it on my phone.
Next week, Wednesday, we'll probably be fine still. We're not going to ship everything
Well,
out.
so
That's
Alex
not what I
has
was
said,
told.
yeah, Alex has said like stuff's being broken down Monday to Tuesday. Like that's when stuff starts.
So
So maybe
what
this will
we're-
be left up.
What we're talking about, folks, is literally we move IGN, including all the gear and
LA.
massive stuff, video equipment, down to LA for E3 week. So that's why we physically may not be able to record
Yeah,
the
it's
show.
a big infrastructure
Maybe,
thing.
yeah,
that
maybe
do.
we will have to shoot it on an iPhone and just put it up. But in any case, 199 next week, and then at E3 will not be episode 200. E3 will be this other thing I don't want to announce yet because I don't want to jinx it because there are some moving parts.
But a special episode.
A special episode that, as of today, is all set to go. Sean Finnegan, who is
Yeah.
producing that show.
Nice.
I'm very excited.
I've connected with all the appropriate people, and
Good.
we're good. And it's going to be one of the coolest episodes. I will call it this. I will call it a once-in-a-lifetime episode
Wow.
of Podcast Unlocked.
So don't miss that one, Destin.
It's like the Christmas special.
Kinda, yeah, kinda.
But
I
E3.
might actually even have to call it that. Podcast Unlocked, the Christmas special, even though it's not Christmas.
in June.
Yeah.
And
It's
then-
E3. It's
E3
Christmas
is our
for video
Christmas,
games.
yeah.
But
true.
but here's the deal. I'm going to just warn everybody now. That episode will not air during E3 because it has to be edited and there's some other technical considerations. So you will not hear from Unlocked specifically during E3, but we'll of course be all over IGN.
Yeah, we're going to be
doing-
occupied with other stuff.
doing that week. So the special episode will air the week after on usual Wednesday time, which is like I think the 24th, I believe, and then
You're right.
Saturday, June 27th. Mitchell, what
Yes,
are we
sir.
doing?
We are doing the IGN House Party. This is a live event in San Francisco. It takes place. Do we know the venue name? I can't remember.
Broadway Studios.
Broadway Studios in
here
San Francisco. So if you go to go.ign.com/houseparty, you can buy tickets to come to the event. We're gonna have all sorts of IGN people are gonna be there. We're gonna have some stuff that like, I don't know. I don't want to say specifics because I don't know what's out there.
Paint yourself into a
It's
corner.
I was
$25 $25 for the ticket. Like Mitch said,
There's stuff
it will
there.
It will be featuring Podcast Unlocked episode 200 and Podcast
And
Beyond.
later,
yes.
Podcast Beyond.
combo
episode
show.
400.
And I should-
There will be special guests. All of IGN people, a bunch of IGN people will be
Yes.
there, including obviously the
hosts.
hosts of Podcast Unlocked and Podcast Beyond, but not just them.
Ooh la la.
There will be food. There will be drinks.
Yes.
There will be all kinds of stuff to do and play and have fun there.
We're gonna have
And,
merch?
merch
Yeah.
will be there. Yeah.
Okay,
So
that was the part I
it'll be a
didn't wanna
day. It's
say.
a day. It's an afternoon.
Well,
Yeah.
I should add that the reason there's a ticket price is literally just to cover the cost of the event. The venue space, you're going to get a T-shirt with
Yep.
your ticket.
it includes food and drink.
See, that was the stuff I didn't want to get into because I didn't know specifics. So that's
But,
good.
yeah,
Thank
there
you.
is a. We're not just.
Good thing
try-
you guys paid attention.
I don't think.
I'm producing the show. I should know these things.
Yeah, I just read the ticket page. Was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's the ticket cost is not really a profit venture. It's a
No,
just
not
pay
at
for
all.
this
It's
thing.
a break-even
Make it-
venture.
Please
Make
let
it
us make this
yeah.
happen. Like,
So that if it goes well, we can do it again next year, hopefully bigger and better. So hope you can join us in San Francisco for that on Saturday, June 27th. The doors will open at 11:30 a.m., which is when certainly I will be hanging out.
Yeah, I'll be there.
with everybody.
We
say
have
hi,
to be there.
mingle, and then Unlock will start at 1. Unfortunately, after the whole thing, after Beyond ends, I actually have to leave, which really
Ryan
sucks.
made plans.
man, that's about because
Yeah.
we're gonna go to a Damon show. After
there
Damon's
is
doing
a-
a show at Neck of the Woods.
Yes, so I'm sorry I'm going to miss that. But
So we're gonna go dance off the drinks that we had at Broadway Studios.
Yeah, if you want, so if you want to mingle with me, say hello. Please show up early.
Do it early.
I'm having to hit to the state of the early schedule.
Yeah, this is gonna be a blast. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and now I'm just trying to put together. I have to actually plan, what I'm gonna do for that. What we're gonna do for that.
Yeah, we should maybe build some show notes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
We'll have a lot to talk about after E3, no doubt.
Yeah. Good times. All right, let's come right back. You know what you're here to talk about this week. Everybody wants to hear about Fallout 4. We'll get to that. Plus, just this morning, Mitch, some breaking, very interesting Gears of War news that's
Indeed.
not specifically game-related, but it has some serious implications for
Yeah,
the future of
totally.
Gears of War, as well as Rise of the Tomb Raider. new trailer for that dropping, which I personally had a not intended reaction to. Lots to talk about.
I'm excited to learn about that.
Yes. Lots to talk about right after this.
Did you break out in a rap?
All right, let's talk about Fallout 4. Trailer dropped today as we recorded. As we knew it was coming. It had been hinted. It had been leaked. When's it going to get out? We're going to have to wait until E3, until Bethesda's first ever press conference on Sunday night to hear about it. And no, we got the teaser yesterday with a countdown.
That was like an image.
Please stand by.
And so then we got the trailer. I was very much expecting a cinematic teaser that showed nothing. That would just be like, for more, tune in E3.
Yeah.
And we got a 3-minute gameplay trailer.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot in there.
A lot,
Tons of content.
Hot
The
take,
Rewind
Sean
Theater.
Finnegan.
I actually really like it. I always view Fallout with through rose tinted glasses, right? Like Fallout 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. I've been wanting this game for as long as I can remember. At least
as far back as
2000
years.
Since Fallout 3. But the tone of it really took me back, man. I love that style of a
retro
post-apocalyptic
future.
50s.
Yeah.
Like if the world had ended in the 50s, what that would look like.
But also there's all the weird sci-fi stuff in there with floating
The-
robots.
Yeah.
1950s future
Exactly.
is destroyed.
Yeah, and I mean they kind of have done that with not exactly 1950s. I guess it was a little bit later, 60s with BioShock and stuff. But I love that idea of a different future of an alternative past type thing. And I love the trailer. I thought it was cool. Like we saw some really interesting stuff. It seems more colorful than the
that was the big thing
wasteland
for
of
me is
Fallout 3.
I didn't like Fallout 3 a whole lot. I understand why people do. I think the VAT system is incredible. I think the world building is amazing. I think some of its stories are incredible. I was just bored by playing it because it just didn't resonate with me wandering for that long. But seeing that trailer and seeing how they've amped up the art, it's got a wider color palette. Each area seems to have its own aesthetic individuality, which is interesting. They cut between those different districts throughout Massachusetts.
Yeah, or even just the cities seemed far less monochromatic, and not monochromatic in black and white, but just
gray
singular
brown.
tone.
Yeah. So I love that.
And you still have some of those landscapes.
Sure,
and stuff,
and
but
you're
there
going
are-
to in an apocalypse.
Yeah,
or
but
their
they're
apocalypse.
But the cities and the towns, at least the ones that we saw, definitely had a lot more character, just from a color and palette, and I like that. It's just a nice departure from what Fallout 3 was.
I saw some people on Twitter today saying that the tones seem more serious this time around, and I got a little bit of the opposite. There are definitely some
I actually found it
scenes
hopeful.
that so did I, and some
There's still
scenes
sugar
definitely had
bombs and the classic goofy staples,
Yeah.
the comics on the rack.
And you definitely-
in that same scene, it looks like we'll be collecting Pip-Boy
Yes.
bobbleheads again.
The
I
bobbleheads,
love
yeah.
the
Of course,
bobbleheads.
yeah.
I own a.
Yeah.
That's the first. That's the only bobblehead I own. Actually, is a Vault Boy or one of the little.
I got the
bobbleheads.
pre-order thing too,
Yeah.
or the limited edition. It came
Yeah.
with a bobblehead.
He's doing the little
Nice.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
I love it.
I thought seeing the diversity of places that you're going to visit, you see the open-ended wasteland with the broken highways, and you see these small towns and these made-up cities, and you see Boston.
Fenway Park's in there.
Yeah.
You see these landmarks from
Fenway
Boston.
Park.
I'm sure it'll be like Fenway
Well, it's,
Park.
it's Diamond City was the name we saw on one of the signs.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see this variety, and it's almost like New Vegas in that way. I mean, Fallout 3 to me had obviously the iconic Washington landmarks, but New Vegas for me had more unique personality in terms of what the people of that world had built for themselves, and you see a lot of that in Fallout 4's trailer, and I love that. And I am, even though I played Fallout 3 and was like, it's not for me. And I tried New Vegas and thought some of its missions and stories were great, but again, the meandering just wasn't for me. It's why I don't like Skyrim. And I'm sure I'm going to have the exact same thing with Todd Howard's fourth game that I'm going to play and be like, it's not for me, but I am very excited for
It's
Fallout
really
4.
interesting for me because I think I've said it before on the show, but I am the type of guy who I need a sort of mission directive
I
in the
need
game.
just a little bit of guidance,
Yeah,
and then
like
I can
if
let
you
me
put
just branch.
Well,
If
they
you-
give you that.
Well, no.
all
That's
the
what I'm saying. Is
Fallouts, yeah.
just in general. I haven't really ever been into Red Dead Redemption or any of the GTA games. Open world, I didn't play Watch Dogs. Didn't really find the charm of GTA other than all the crazy videos and gifs that pop up on Reddit. I am just that type of player who if you put me into a world and you're you can do anything you want and you can do it in any order. You don't have to do anything. I
Yeah.
won't do anything.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and then I just get bored.
And I get bored. Yeah.
All right, I'm
But
gonna go
see,
take a nap.
for Red Dead with me, it was always I knew that I needed to find Bill. Where's
Yeah.
Javier Escuela?
Yeah.
I knew what I
So-
needed to do.
And that's exactly
that led me where I needed to
and
go.
that's kind of how I felt with Fallout 3. Is Fallout 3 is one of those those games where you don't have to do anything, but I was so in love with the world and the story that I wanted to do everything, and I did. I played a ton out of that game.
Yeah, and if we're talking about Todd Howard's games, I think that they have gotten better about that, Mitch, of having that a strong enough narrative to guide you through to enjoy the rest of it. Because for me, Oblivion was one of my favorite games, easily top 5 of last generation for me. But I would criticize Oblivion in that I think the main quest of closing all these Oblivion gates was actually the least interesting portion of the game.
Definitely.
Same in Fallout 3. Find your dad.
Right.
Boring.
The side stuff was even better, but I think, but with Skyrim, they did a much better job of making the main story quest interesting.
I found the story, though, in Fallout 3 to be pretty compelling. Like, it is, it starts out as find your dad.
Liam Neeson,
But then it's, your dad is Liam Neeson, and immediately I'm like, I want to do everything to please him. And
Where is Liam Neeson?
Yeah, like, what can I do to help you, Father? And it ends up you're kind of like, I forget the exact...
Been taken, son.
I forget the exact details, but you kind of have to figure out, like, what's wrong with the water supply, and then they design a, like, machine that's going to change the wasteland back because they can now generate water, and then it gets tied into this whole conspiracy theory about this government that doesn't exist. Like, you're always listening to it on the radio, right? Like, the president is out there, and he's like, we're still here. Come find us. He's giving you kind of like messages of just like this continuity.
Like false hope.
Hey, the country's still here. It's it's messed up, but we're still here. And you go and investigate the conspiracy, and it turns out like there is no president, and it's all a sham, and it's just so cool, man. I love that world.
Before I throw to Destin, because I know Destin, you're a big fan of the series, and you've been studying the game all morning since the trailer dropped. You came into work early. You did our Rewind Theaters, like super
which should be live now.
Tear down of the trailer. For me, a thing that jumped out was something I was hoping for. In fact, Destin, you and I are working with Dan Stapleton and Zach Ryan, just 4 of the biggest Fallout fans in the office. We're actually putting together an 11 Things We Want in Fallout 4 feature, which we wrote before the trailer, and turns out we can still talk about all those things we want, but one thing that I did address in that feature that the trailer fortunately addressed is dog meat.
I was going to say, I was waiting because I was like, I have one. I hope that number 1 is like you start with dog meat.
So, and the trailer doesn't promise, but it heavily suggests that the dog will be a constant companion for you in the game. Maybe not. Maybe it was just for the trailer.
Maybe this guy's 30 hours into his campaign. We don't know.
Right.
Well, I mean, like in basically every shot, the dog is there. It starts with the dog.
And that's the thing. Like,
ends with the dog.
It could have just been used as a narrative thread for this trailer, but I like to believe that they showcased the dog in that way and had him meet up with the Vault Dweller, the Vault 111 Dweller.
Who has a voice now.
Yes.
Main character's got a voice.
Yeah.
We're going to have to change our conference room.
From Vault 101.
Yeah, from Vault 101.
We're outdated now.
Yeah, we have a conference room here at IGN called Vault 101 that's a tribute to Fallout 3. But yeah, so I for me, you could go back to Dead to Rights. Was a hilarious man and dog game, but then Fable 2 did it really well.
Yeah.
GTA 5 did it really well with Chop.
Old Chop.
So I think dogs can add a lot to a game, both gameplay wise, because they can potentially maybe sniff out loot somewhere, or help guide you,
partner,
be a compass of sorts, and they can help you out in combat potentially too. But they also can definitely add an emotional connection to the character. And give the player motivation to do things or not do things or protect the dog. So I really hope that dog meat is as significant of a part of the game as the trailer
I want to
suggests.
walk out of Vault 111 with dog meat.
Yes.
Like, I want to hold a puppy as I open that door, man. I better get to see that dog as a puppy.
Anytime a game gives you a companion like a dog that follows you around, it gives you something to lose, and that can be very powerful, like you said, tug on those heartstrings.
Especially if it's a pug instead of a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
I need that boxer skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't end up being like an escort quest. Like a big, long
keep this dog alive.
Yeah.
So
I guess
Destin,
here's this dog
what
that
are you
always
thinking
walks a
of it
little bit
after
slower than you.
You've gone frame by frame through it. You spent all morning with it. What jumped out at you?
So I'm really excited. There's a lot of staples from classic Fallouts, like just characters that you're going to recognize, be it the Brahmin or the Protectrons.
The Brotherhood of Steel were certainly in there.
We don't know that that's the Brotherhood of Steel.
But it
we
is
know
their
that
armor.
that's power armor.
Yeah.
And the Brotherhood of Steel faction was Fallout 3.
Well, they
group.
go back to the original Fallouts too.
Yeah, we're
I'm sure
assuming
they're in the
it's
Commonwealth.
I don't want to say that it's necessarily that, because they're on the East Coast. We're on a different coast for like the first time
Now,
for a while.
we're speaking as if the Boston thing is a done deal. What about the trailer? Because what about the trailer? There was the baseball stadium and the
City Hall.
Clipper ship.
The giant airships flying around.
Yeah.
City Hall is there, like the Gold Dome. I think
Right.
it's City Hall. It's a. There are a couple iconic landmarks. I saw Boston people tweeting like, "Oh my God, I live near there."
Yeah. I left all my notes in the
That's all right.
Rewind Theater room, but it's like the Commonwealth and the
There's that statue of the
British are coming guy.
Yeah.
Paul Revere.
Paul Revere. There it is.
The British are coming.
I'm Canadian. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mitch
He and I were both like, the man on the horse. He's got the horseman.
yeah.
If there's a Canadian version of like the French are coming, we don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah,
and
that's
Sean
true.
don't
You'd
know
be
who
like,
that
oh
is.
yeah, they had that dude who was the. I'm like, Johnny Alexander, you idiot.
So yeah, what else jumped out at you, good or bad? I mean, did you like the trailer?
I really like the trailer. I like that it's remaining faithful to its roots while exploring something different. Something that's really interesting was the fact that it jumped between time periods, like post-war
that was cool.
and pre-war.
So like,
you
are we
know?
gonna have segments where we see pre-war stuff?
that
Yeah.
happened in 3.
Did it?
Yeah,
There
but it
was
was a
the-
virtual reality experience where it wasn't actually
True.
real. It was fake.
I wonder if you'll have flashbacks or if the game starts before the apocalypse or
That would
something.
be cool.
Yeah,
Like if you get
that
to live
would
a
be
few
cool.
hours
Well,
without
because
the
you
apocalypse.
see, there's that shot where you see the nuclear explosion. Like,
Right, like they're going to the vaults.
yeah, and it's all
Yeah.
these people like looking at it, and then they get like obliterated by the shockwave, and it's just like if you're, I don't know, if you're there to experience it, or maybe it's like you're talking to a character who was there and
Yeah.
experienced it. Because part of the charm, or part of like the sort of hook of Fallout is that like you come out of the vault not knowing what's out there because you grew up in the vault.
Sure.
But yeah, like if you get to talk to like your parents or the old wise sage who was there when it happened and somehow survived and is now down in the vault with you, that may be a really interesting storytelling device of allowing you to experience this pre like disaster 50s.
Well, and not only that, but it would be a way to differentiate the opening part of Fallout 4 from 3 because even the trailer for 4 infers that it shows a couple times of you kind of coming out of
Yeah.
the vault for
Seeing
seemingly
the
the first
wasteland for
time.
the first time, yeah.
So yeah, I mean maybe that's a way of setting the timeline even further back, of a way of sort of making the opening to this.
I would
I would
love
love
that.
if it was 3 hours of no apocalypse.
That'd be
Oh,
great.
yeah.
3 hours
Like
of me and my
That's literally,
family.
you took the words right out of my
Yeah.
mouth. I said, what if the whole first act of the game was
Yeah.
pre-apocalypse?
Like, what if the
stuff like-
catalyst is, hey, the apocalypse is coming. We have to get to a vault.
A game that did this very well, not an Xbox game, but The Last of Us. Like that
Yep.
inciting
Oh, yeah.
incident pit takes place years before the problem, or
Right.
before
Yeah.
the
Before
whatever
the main
the
storyline.
plague, whatever it is, takes place, and that really sets up the characters and
Yes.
kind of establishes
Gives them
who
motivation
you are,
and
yeah,
heart.
and it contextualizes the choices you have to make with Ellie later on in the game. It's a great storytelling device, and I
Yeah.
would love to see something like that in Fallout because to me the story was already its strength.
Me
Destin,
too.
what else?
Well, for me, that was the most intriguing aspect, and how they're going to tie that in, because that's clearly like in-engine gameplay happening pre-apocalypse, and then same location post-apocalypse. So I just want to see how that narrative is going to play out.
I just hope it's not like the dude has like you'll be in a house and it goes like blip blip and it flashes back and he's like I can see the past, something silly.
Well, let's talk about actually the look, and because I think my first glance at the trailer, which I admit I watched on my phone.
Me too.
But I thought it looked really good. I had a lot of Twitter feedback and even a little not a little debate in the office is, it doesn't look that great. What do you guys think of
graphically, visual
just
fidelity?
pure visual? Because
Yeah.
I mean, this is a
can
next
see
gen
that.
Fallout. It is not coming to PS3 and 360. At the bottom of
Yeah.
the screen, at the end of the trailer, it says PS4,
Yeah.
Xbox One, PC.
I talked about this with reviews editor Dan Stapleton a bit. I mean, he mentioned that people were talking about it, and he mentioned that, it's an open world game. It's a lot to work with. Like, it compensates in other ways. And I understand that argument, but part of my problem with Bethesda Game Studios games is that the character models always look really bad. Some of the animations were always janky.
Skyrim was a pretty big improvement
Yeah, definitely was.
over everything else they had done to that
And
point.
this doesn't look like The Last of Us, and it is kind of a weak argument to say like, yeah, but there's more to it. But at the same time, you look at the level of detail shows that like you don't need like kick-ass character models and beautiful textures to make something look great.
Exactly.
You can have
That's yes.
You need art direction.
Exactly. And my favorite shot in that whole trailer is when Dogmeat walks out of the garage with the power armor. and you see it's in like a gas station, and the top ceiling, like the roof of it, is like off center a little bit, like it's been broken in half, and it's just covered in, it's decayed. The grass around it is like kind of dying. Like those details are what sell the world to me. And it could look better, sure, but it looks amazing.
Here's an aspect I forgot to mention in the Rewind Theater, actually. There's weather effects this time, and I don't believe that took
Interesting.
place in New Vegas or 3. And what I'm
'cause
wondering...
wait, yeah, was there rain at some point?
Yeah, there was
in the-
rain at the point where you see the mysterious guy
Right, in the city.
in the city, and I'm wondering if that's going to be a gameplay mechanic. Like, the rain probably won't be great for you to be out in if there's
It's like
radiation still in
acid
the world.
rain.
Yeah.
So
It could be, could
Yeah.
very well be.
you know, that could be a way where they're like, hey, you gotta
Find shelter.
find shelter, or set up your tent or something. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but it was very intriguing. And like, does that mean there's gonna be snow or fall and summer? You know,
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought the game looks great. I mean, we'll see a lot more at E3 and have a much better idea, but I don't know if it's literally a new engine, but it feels like it's a largely rewritten version of the Skyrim engine that we saw, 3 years ago on the old consoles. Because I could see a lot of level of detail in the textures and in some of the things you're saying, Mitch, and just like the draw distance looked really good. I
Absolutely.
could definitely see a lot of people were complaining about the character models, but yeah, I think it seems to look really good, and I'm excited about that.
People have kind of come to expect like a Crisis Engine level of quality,
Right.
Yeah.
or like the
Well,
Metal Gear 5.
That's kind of the
level
problem
detail.
with this whole idea of like next gen, right? Like when the 360 and the PS3 launched, or even the Xbox and the PS2, like it was a quantum leap forward in the ability to render more polygons and greater textures and details, and that gap has just kind of gotten smaller and smaller as we get to the threshold.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's even the argument where like the more realistic character models become, the less
Uncanny
human,
Valley.
Yeah, the less human they actually end up being, because we look at humans every day. We are humans, and so like we can get really close, but the closer you get, like the bigger that gap seems.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
because the more obvious that the flaws stand out.
Exactly. And so to me, it's like I think it looked good, marginally better than what I remember Fallout 3 looking like. But Fallout 3 looked good when it came out.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I look at this and I'm like, that doesn't look significantly better.
To your point, Oblivion was stunning when it
Yeah.
came out because it was a
Oh, yeah.
console. It was an HD era mega leap from Morrowind, which was on PC and the original Xbox, to the Xbox 360. And then it was definitely less. It was more shorter steps from, of course, within the generation, from Oblivion to Fallout to Skyrim. I mean, if you compare Oblivion and Skyrim does look way better.
for sure,
So,
for sure.
I'm very curious to see what Fallout 4 will end up looking like.
And I mean, my point, just to like kind of round that whole discussion out, was just like, to me, the graphical fidelity, the visual fidelity is much more closely tied to, like Mitch said, the art style and the design, as it is to how many pixels can I peep looking at this image,
Okay, it doesn't look as pretty as, say, Metal Gear 5,
Yeah.
but for me, if it's consistent
need to, I
and
don't
everything
think.
runs smoothly, I will be more immersed in that world, and I'm all game for that.
We also, we've seen a very short glimpse, and we've
Yeah.
seen pieces of it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for E3 when we invariably see a big old demo.
Well, and that was my next point is, tell me if you gentlemen agree. I think, we all expected a cinematic nothing teaser
Yeah.
in
Well,
advance
Well,
of
that's what New
E3.
Vegas was, right?
We also expected.
So is Fallout 3.
We also expected, on some level, for
Fallout
this
3.
announcement to come at E3 during this press conference.
Yeah.
Now they have this big press conference where we don't know what they're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I think if they showed 3 minutes of gameplay video now, I gotta figure this means we're getting a 20-ish, mega long full gameplay demo.
And that is
from
the
Todd
rumor out
Howard
there
at
right
E3.
now. That rumor is circling, so that'd be nice.
Which I
That's
think
exciting.
and I think it's
Yeah,
smart.
that'd be
I mean, versus announcing now versus waiting until their press conference at E3. If you wait, you're banking on people tuning in because they're hoping and are assuming to see Fallout 4. By making it official now, you're basically guaranteeing that people are going to tune in to their press conference to see
More of it.
see much
Oh, yeah.
more. Last thing on Fallout 4 before we move on. Maybe another unlocked in-and-out bet coming.
Ooh.
I want to know. So I have a strong feeling on when I think this game is coming out.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page, so we can't bet.
Okay, so
I'm so bad at this.
Mitch, you and I'm willing to go fairly specific, even although for no valid reason. I think it's definitely going to be this year. I could see it being
This year?
Yes, I think it's going to be even potentially an October game. I mean, maybe November.
Yeah, my guess is
Skyrim
November.
most November, but I think it's definitely 2015. And
So
here's
we're
why.
all getting hands-on time with this at E3, is what you're saying?
I doubt that.
Okay.
I don't think we'll touch it till we play it
the
for
game,
review.
The game is being has been in development for 4 years because this is Todd Howard's team. So when Todd Howard's team finished Skyrim, they moved on to this. That's 4 years.
Did they sign a contract that's like, I will remove your leg from your body with my bare hands if you leak
Right.
Fallout 4? Because, like,
Right.
nothing, not a peep.
What do you mean? There were
There
tons
were,
of
there were
leaks
like
for
lots of
Fallout
script
4.
leaks.
Script leaks, but, like,
no,
they were
Ko-
all pretty subtle.
Kotaku had the whole Boston
The setting and like people
Okay,
visiting
you're right.
MIT.
And then
You're
there
right.
was there have been a bunch of there was the
But it was
the
all like,
LinkedIn resume leaks
But-
recently with
Really?
the trailer.
Okay.
and-
But to your point,
Yeah.
right.
they did seem like much smaller leaks than what we're
There
accustomed
wasn't, like,
to leaking.
a
Like to
gameplay
see.
leak of an internal
wait, was that the Guillermo del
trailer.
Toro studio trailer that we saw today? Right, like that was the thing, right? It was like Del Toro Studio was doing the Fallout 4 trailer.
Del Toro has a studio.
I
was
don't
that
know.
ever a
don't
confirmed
remember.
thing or
I don't know.
his-
That was the LinkedIn thing,
not his
wasn't
game
it?
Studio.
I don't know. In any case, between the 4 years of development time, and to put that in perspective, yes, it was 4 years between Morrowind and Oblivion, which did leap a generation, which is what we're doing here. But it was then 3 years from Oblivion to Fallout, and 3 years from Fallout 3 to Skyrim. And Todd Howard's team is obviously much bigger now. I think there's no way. I think it's definitely 2015.
Yeah.
Mitch.
I'm with you.
Destin, you seem to disagree, and a lot of people on Twitter seem to disagree with me too.
I thought it was going to be this year. I thought you guys were going to say next year. So I was going to be like,
you're
I'm
on
going to go
board, too.
crazy and say
Oh.
this year.
I'll
'Cause
disagree.
here's how I remember playing Fallout 3 and being exposed to it. I went to E3. I had an appointment for Bethesda, so I'm like, all right, I'll try this Fallout game. I didn't know anything about it at the time. And I played it, and then it came out that year. That's how I remember it happening. Now, you say that you had hands-on time the year before it came out.
Fallout 3, I was there for the reveal.
Uh-huh.
They invited a bunch of media to Bethesda in Maryland.
Okay.
And where they have like a theater in there, so that the team can all meet in there and do presentations in a theater. And they showed us, Todd Howard showed us Fallout 3 in, gosh, I don't remember when it was.
I'm trying to look it up now. Keep vamping.
It was probably at that point, probably the year before, unless
But then
it
they
wasn't.
had it at E3.
Yeah, maybe it was the same year. It was. I know it was like around April, but I
Yeah.
don't remember if it was 2007 or 2008. The game, of course, shipped in October 2008. But in any case, yeah, this is definitely a bit of a different strategy where like they're waiting right till before
Yeah.
E3.
Here's where I'll differ with you, though.
Okay.
I think we're going to get hands-on time at E3 if it is this year, and then we'll get it later in the year. Why would they not let media play it? Like, the section we played at E3 was Megaton, basically. So, like, it'll be something like
The
that.
reason is because publishers more and more are trying to control the message more and not
Yeah.
have. They don't want us to give our honest feedback.
Yeah,
of
the
it.
last time we previewed
Because-
a Bethesda game, we said not nice things about it. It was the Evil Within.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
so,
which ended up being pretty good.
Well,
Yeah.
this goes back to your point, Destin, of the same reason why we don't get demos for AAA games, and we never really have. Like, even though we don't get demos of anything anymore, when demos were a thing last generation, you never got a Halo demo or a Gears of War demo or a Call of Duty demo, or if you did, it was after the game came out because.
Betas are the new demos.
Well, yeah, that's another matter entirely. But it's because the reason for that is with a game like Fallout 4, a demo can only hurt you.
Yeah.
Hurt you meaning the publisher, if you're the publisher.
Or PR.
Because fans are so excited for it, they're prepared to buy it and they're
Yeah.
prepared to pre-order it. They have a glowing preview, should we think that, from an IGN, isn't probably going to generate a ton more pre-orders for them, but they run the risk if we say anything even slightly negative, like, it's not looking that great.
Yeah.
It kind of plays the same. They risk people canceling their pre-orders, so they really have nothing to gain and only things to lose. So yeah, I agree with Mitch. I don't think we're going to get to play Fallout until very close to release.
Fallout 3 was announced in June of 2007 with the teaser
Okay.
trailer that I don't want to set the world on fire, the
Yeah.
CG thing where the camera's pulling out, it's Ron Perlman.
Was it CG?
Okay,
Because
so-
I thought there was a bunch of VAT stuff in there where he blows up the mutants.
So I
No,
think
the
then-
teaser was just that. It was like the in a car, and it zoomed out of the car because
That's
it was the
right, that's right.
flickering
Okay.
radio thing.
Got
remember?
it.
Oh,
Got
with
it.
the bobblehead? No, that's the beginning of the
No,
game.
no.
That's the opening.
I think
scene.
it was,
Girl.
but
It's
they
a
were
Hula
very
Girl.
similar.
Not
Yeah.
a bobblehead.
But
Sorry,
it
right,
it
yeah.
pulled out of the car and it pulled back, and it was the Brotherhood of
Yeah,
Steel.
you see
guy.
the steel,
And he
yeah.
turns, and
he
then
turns,
it's
and then
logo.
Never
Yeah.
changes.
So it was announced in fall 2007, or sorry, summer
Which means-
2007, and revealed as fall 2008.
Okay, which means the thing I went to at Bethesda was probably was in April, and it was just embargoed until
right.
because we were all working on magazines
Sure,
back then
yeah,
with lead times. Finnegan, are you on the 2015 train, or are you on? What do you think?
So I am terrible with this kind of stuff, making these types of predictions, but 2015 does seem awfully soon to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and say early next year.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, like I would say Q1
Early.
spring window. Yeah. Well, remember we talked about how like lately we've seen games do well in that sort of time period as opposed to the heavily crowded sort of pre-holiday season where we see games release. I think it would just be a smart business decision to release it then, and you have the ability as a developer to sort of polish off the game and make sure it's not buggy and people are, it's something worth shipping, and then go for it. Even if it's already been in development 4 years, I still think it seems too soon for this year.
Fair enough. I will add too that no matter when this game ships, whether it's fall this year or sometime in 2016, I think this is a game where, like Grand Theft Auto 5, you will see other games delay to
Yeah.
get the hell away from it. This is a game you do not want to be in the blast radius of.
Oh God,
When
no.
it drops.
No.
I had to. I had to.
Not
I'm
bad.
sorry.
Not bad at all.
All right.
You're
So
getting
that,
I was in the kill zone of that joke.
you're irradiated and have cancer. And have cancer now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. All right. Mitch,
Yes, sir.
hot scoops this morning.
Some hot scoops.
Black Tusk Studio is no more.
Rest in peace, Black Tusk Studio. Gears of War is canceled. No, the Black Tusk Studio, the guys who are making the next Gears of War, headed up by Rod Ferguson, have been renamed to the Coalition, which is a very Gears of War name.
Oh, come on!
Their logo is very much like a cog. It spins around like a chainsaw. It's all very Gears of War, and that's because this is now basically like 343 is for Halo. These guys are for Gears. Coalition is a Gears of War studio. Their name on Twitter is Coalition Gears. This is what they do now. Black Tusk has become Coalition. They have become Microsoft's Gears of War studio.
I liked Black Tusk as a name.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought Black Tusk
Yeah.
was
It
a
was
cool
so
name.
good.
Yeah, I get why they changed
Their logo
it.
was cool.
I mean, if they're just Gears of War, like that's
Sure.
the rest of their next 10 years
Right.
anyway.
Which it is.
Yeah, then, all right, I get it.
I mean, it's a Gears of War thing too, right? Like
Yeah.
the cog. God, so
Go ahead,
soldiers
Mitch.
are
Tell
called
us about
cog.
the
They, cog, which is an important part of the Gears of War universe, is the coalition of ordered governments. The Gears work for cog, which is why they're called Gears.
Cogs are gears. Ah!
I hate you
Tell
guys.
us about the Locust.
I could go on.
Yeah, is there going to be a rival studio that opens up called Locust? All right. So they are the three self-acknowledged. They're the 343 of Gears of War.
Yeah, I mean Andrew or somebody here, I think it was like Andrew Goldfarb, was like, "Oh, like they're just the 343, but for Gears." And then we
Right.
read the post, and it's like, "Yep, that's exactly what they're
exactly what it
saying."
is.
Like,
Yeah.
when you hear 343, you think Halo. When
Breaking
you hear
news:
Coalition, you
Lionhead
think Gears.
Studios to be renamed Albion Studios.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel bad, guys, for. I mean, maybe I'm overshooting it here, but I kind of feel bad for the longtime employees there who.
That's going to suck making all that money.
Because no, hold on, just hear me out. Creatively, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, job security is good, but
Yeah.
like if those guys signed, first of all, because they were making a video game that wasn't Gears of War until they Microsoft bought the Gears of War IP and hired Rod Ferguson and said, okay, you guys we're burning that old game to the ground and you're making Gears of War now, and now you're making Gears of War for the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
343 was specifically founded and set up to be a Halo studio. So if you were going to work there from day one or ever, you knew you were going to be passionate and working on Halo. You're going to be working on Halo. But for any long-timers there, they didn't ask to, like, they're kind of now sentenced to a lifetime of Gears of War, whether they want it or not. So it's like, if they don't want to work on Gears of War, then it's like, well, boy, what have they been doing for the last 5 years of their lives? I kind of feel bad for them. I mean, again, it's a good studio. They're going to work on a thing that sells millions of copies, but it's just like, they now have to leave if they want to go work on something that's not Gears of War related.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. Where's Black Tusk? Are they in Seattle?
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Close enough.
Seattle is just
Canada.
America's Vancouver.
The first Gears of War game they're doing is probably going to be announced at E3. Come out a few years.
I mean, they straight up said like, "Hey, if you want to know what the future of Gears,
Yeah.
pay attention on
And
June
there's a stream
14th
happening
and
Isn't
on
the
the
15th."
future of
15th.
Gears of War
Yeah.
just the past of Gears of War because it's the remaster
Yeah.
that's been
Oh, I'm
leaking
sure
all
we'll
over
see,
the
I'm
place?
sure we'll see a Gears
My
4.
point being, they could go anybody who works. They could probably go anywhere they want after that, if it's
Maybe.
good.
Yeah,
you know,
it's entirely possible.
So I'm
I
not
don't
too
know,
worried
man.
about them landing on their feet.
Like,
and Vancouver has other developers too.
Sort of low-level artists and programmers aren't as valuable as leads, you know.
If their passion though is indie projects,
Oh well, sure.
Then-
But I mean, that's right.
Yeah,
It's
you
By
probably
the way,
can
why
go
they
artists and
have to
programmers,
go.
I'd like to note that was Sean Finnegan that said that, not any of the rest of us.
I'm just saying, in the hierarchy of things, like when it comes to people who are the most replaceable, it's programmers and artists, coders. Like it sucks because there's a lot of video game turnover, but that's
Right.
where it all happens. Is there, you know?
I don't know, man. Like programmers are in high demand. You
That's
need
true.
Yeah.
They
those
make
people.
really good money.
Yeah.
No, but they're the people who you hire on to ship a game, and then once the game ships, you fire them.
no, you fire the
fire
testers.
QA.
Yeah,
Well, that
QA
too.
gets
QA is the
annihilated.
lowest.
Also, if you have
wrong
concept artists who are not doing anything for years after their work is done, if they don't have a project to work on next, then they get the boot.
Yeah,
The
but
video
you,
game
you
industry in
need
general
concept
has
artists to like
a lot of
keep that
turnover.
world
Well, yeah, the
sort
art,
of
the art direction,
unified.
the vision,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this also, I mean, we assumed, of course, that especially once Microsoft bought the Gears IP, that we were going to be getting Gears of War games from now until the end of time. But this cements it. I mean, we can expect Gears of War probably every 2 years in some capacity, even if like Halo, the mainline games have been every 3 years. So we'll see how coalitions dev timelines go, but I'm guessing there'll be side projects, but and you know, non-coalition Gears titles that are published under coalition's banner, like the Gears 1 remake that is allegedly in development at Splash Damage, which is the studio that did Brink.
You think it's just the first one, not like the first three or something?
The inline skating movie.
Well, all the leaks indicate that it's just
One.
Gears 1 this
Okay.
time, yeah.
I mean, if I get to play multiplayer on Canal, I'll be happy.
Yeah, Canal's
I
a
won't
good
be
map.
happy that I got to pay for it, but I'll be
Yeah.
all right.
Well, if anybody does leave that company, I'm sure their name will rise again.
Nope.
He's
Come on, that worked! That worked! That worked really well.
working is different than being good.
Okay.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm annoyed by how this is going to be Ryan in annoyed mode. Over the weekend, on Sunday specifically, Microsoft, the @Xbox account tweets out, "The adventure begins June 15th. Rise of the Tomb Raider." I'm like,
I think it was June 1st.
Sorry, that's what I meant. June 1st.
Yeah.
I totally didn't say that. June 1st, and I tweeted back
Got
saying,
you excited.
Guys, this makes it sound like
is the game
is
out?
out
Is it
tomorrow."
out?
Yeah. Like, nope, that's not a thing.
You weren't
And
the
then-
only one either. I scrolled through the responses after I saw your tweet, and it was like 45 people going like, "What? Is it out? Oh my god!"
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, you're teasing something for tomorrow that's not the release of the game, and what we get is a cinematic teaser of what?
Of
Wow.
Lara climbing a rock, and then almost
icy
not
rock.
climbing a rock,
A big icy
Yeah.
rock.
and then she climbed a rock.
Yeah.
A big icy rock.
The end. Oh, she lit a flare. My bad. Forgot that part.
Yeah.
And then it's, tune in more, and it's all CG.
Yeah, I was gonna
There's
say, you know what it was? It was a CG like animation of the box art.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that last shot of
Basically.
her
It's
standing.
Like top of the cave, kind of.
Right, like they might as well just ended with it zooming out, and it's like, boom, here's the box art. Like that was awful. Like it was so dumb. It was that trailer accomplished nothing. I learned nothing,
Well, they-
except that Crystal
they-
Dynamics just wants to beat up Lara Croft.
Hold on.
some more.
So on they teased a teaser for E3, which will itself. This is like, stop,
Guys,
stop it,
Guys.
It had that trailer.
Fallout 4 had more than the Rise of the Tomb Raider.
That trailer had, just like the Doom one that I ranted about on a week or two
Yeah.
ago show, had the opposite intended effect on me. It was supposed to get me pumped for more at E3. Actually, it just pissed me off. Like,
It was totally
just show me
forgettable.
the game at E3.
It was
Don't.
it was a cutscene style version of 5 seconds of gameplay.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah, pretty much.
concept of that scene is 5 seconds of you
Look, you can
climbing
climb
a wall and then hitting A to stop yourself and then climbing a ledge.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, yeah, this is not interesting at all.
Like the Call of Duty demo where they held up during the E3
Yeah.
press conference. Yeah, that was
Show me
great.
a trailer where a guy presses X to pay his respects and you've accomplished the same thing.
Yeah. They should have taken that trailer back to the drawing board. Revamped it, if you will.
There's my boy.
Okay.
Sometimes I just hate you so much.
You don't
I-
have to say grace.
I didn't think the trailer was.
Oh, I thought we were done. Sorry.
Well, no, I just, yeah.
You just
Yeah.
like
Too
ruined
soon.
your segue.
I wanted to echo
Sorry,
your
let me know.
sentiment on the trailer.
Or like
It was
20-second timeout.
Yeah.
over here.
I just wanted to echo your sentiment. Like I didn't have a negative reaction to it like you guys did. I thought like it gives me the tone of what this game is because I didn't play the first Tomb Raider game. I mean, and
really
when I
good,
say
you
the
should.
first, I mean the
reboot.
Crystal Dynamics reboot one.
Yeah.
I have it sitting on my desk. I just haven't opened it yet.
No excuses.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but it certainly was very forgettable, not impactful. Like I don't remember much of it. I know there was a voiceover, but what she said I can't really remember.
Yeah.
And then, like
Forgettable.
you pointed out, it's them beating her up again, which I kind of like because she's like this super resilient person.
Sure.
Which
Yeah, Mitch,
you
you're
kinda
annoyed
have to
by
do
the
that.
fact that she's just constantly just
Like it's so
Under-
like when they started promoting Tomb Raider like 2 years ago or whatever, everything we saw was like, here's Lara enduring the war situation. She's smashing the rocks, she's getting impaled, she's getting drowned.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it was everything but the death animations that bothered me in that game. Like it was her almost dying and getting just gross and
Weren't the death
battered.
animations in that game like pretty horrific though at times?
Yeah, they were
Oh
awful.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's
And
awesome.
this, like, I'm not even like, oh, it's a lady, she can't take abuse. It's like, anytime
see,
a
like,
video game is just
that's
about
why-
kicking the crap out of a character, I'm like, this is not interesting.
It sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's because she's a lady that I think the abuse is more effective. Like that's remember. So
yeah, but after a while, you just get desensitized to it. You're like,
I don't know.
okay,
I
you're
mean,
beating
it's-
her up again. I
for me,
get
it's
it.
really hard
Yeah.
to see a
Like,
woman
develop her as a
go through
character
that.
also, if you're going to do that at
Well,
least.
they did
you know.
that too.
Well, I mean, that was
right?
what that game was about, was her becoming, like, steeled.
Yeah.
She became strong and resilient because, like, by the time this was my least favorite scene in Tomb Raider, because it simultaneously showed that, like, Lara doesn't care anymore because she's just like, how much worse can it get? But at the same time, it's like no human being falls into a pile of guts and gore of other humans and crawls out of it and doesn't just vomit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, she got out and she was like,
Press X to vomit.
and like wiped herself down and proceeded and didn't have a single thought about the thing that just happened.
Yeah, I think you pointed out I think it was you who pointed out some inconsistencies where like that first bit of the game where she first
Oh,
leads
yeah.
up to killing someone,
It
which
just-
is like a big monumental
so
I
moment.
love,
good.
I love the
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
but it's
And then
amazing.
right after that,
she's just like, I'm killing 6,000
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
with no remorse
Like,
whatsoever.
literally
after
minutes
like, wait,
later, yeah.
that's not. There was no transition there at
See,
all.
that is the problem with like I think that points at a deeper video game problem.
Oh,
Or something
yeah,
innate
absolutely.
to the
That was
medium.
a
Yeah.
design issue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But like I don't know. I mean, it didn't, like I said, not a really negative reaction for me. Just a little bit of a forgettable one.
Well, it's just like, for me, it's just like Mitch said. Look at the Fallout reveal. Like you said, it's not memorable.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 trailer, super
memorable.
memorable.
Yeah.
Lots of really great shots. The dog hook is really
Well, also
good.
give
The
you a
music
sense
is
of what's
excellent.
coming in the future.
Yeah, like,
which
there's-
this did not do.
It gives you a lot to think about. Where this is like, why did I watch that?
Also, side note is like the voiceover. It didn't sound like Camilla
It's
Luddington.
Camilla.
It is.
Yeah.
Good,
I'm sure it
because
is.
She
It
was
is.
great. Also, she just is great in general. I was like, she's great in the game, yes, but she's also just. We had her on Up at Noon, and she's
Yep.
a fantastic person. Glad to see
I
she's
just
back
hope
at it.
the word "rise" in the title doesn't ruin this video game like it ruined The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Just that.
Quick, other movies with Rise that are good. I can't think.
Can't
of
find any
Yeah.
because apparently the word that's like the secret code word to ruin anything.
Is the second Apes movie the remake? Is that
That was
Rise?
Rise.
Rise. That's
Rise of
pretty
the
good.
Planet
I
of the
it was
Apes.
probably fine. I didn't.
Yeah, I
see
saw it. It was good.
It
First
felt
one
like
was
the
good, too.
trailer was missing something.
I love The Dark Knight. Rises.
Go ahead. It's okay now.
Just
not
like
bad.
the
that
Xbox
movie.
One controller, which recently got a revamp, or at least it's rumored to have a revamp.
oh, it's
No,
not
I think
rumored.
it's confirmed.
It's
yeah.
confirmed.
It's,
Okay,
there were
just making
Didn't we
sure.
see the
retailer,
box?
Yep,
Yeah.
photos of
Saw
it.
the box.
Yeah. So apparently the only difference is that it has that 3.5 millimeter jack in the bottom, so that you can listen to audio.
Well, instead of a proproprietary
Should have been built in.
thing.
That thing I keep
Yeah.
having to borrow from you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That adapter.
Because you have the only one in the world.
I have one at home.
True.
I do too.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
one. I've got
Instead of
two
a-
actually.
I
Really?
just-
Two different ones.
I don't even know where they
brands.
come from. Do you have to buy those and like send
Yeah,
them
have
in
to
the
buy
box?
them
it's
in
like
a
a
box.
separate
They're
thing.
Does it cost
expensive.
$5?
No.
What
It's
I
like
want to know
15 or
is
20.
the company line from Microsoft because people called them out on this, like why
It should be whoops, our bad. That should be the company
when the
line.
console launched and it had this proprietary jack, they were like, well, it's a new proprietary audio codec.
There's too much in
and
the controller.
It's like higher fidelity. And to be fair,
No.
yes, audio chat, the chat quality on Xbox One is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great. But so what does this mean now? Like, were we lying about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Also,
or maybe they fixed it, and they're like, we figured out how to fix those
Well,
proprietary
then how about
codec
just
problems.
say that?
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, like brag, like, yo, we solved this problem because we have some awesome wizards down in
Yeah.
R&D. They cracked it. Now we can do this.
But
because we know that you want it.
So yeah, it's kind of annoying. Like that's messaging then versus now is sort of annoying. But point is, I mean, I am definitely happy that any controllers you buy going forward, you won't need to buy a horrible $10 adapter anymore.
Yeah.
I have a question. How are the headsets going to work? Because
That was my big
old
question,
headsets,
too.
You have to unplug the audio thing and
Well,
plug
and the
in
volume.
the headset.
You mean the volume and the mute thing are built into the plug-in as well.
So
The proprietary
yeah.
adapter is
For just a headset to
yeah,
chat.
like the default headset.
To chat. It plugs in and you
Yeah.
can't use the gameplay audio thing.
I would have to. God, my guess is that
They'll sell a new headset, I guess.
Oh,
I haven't seen
please
it. Did
no.
they already show like what the bottom of the controller looks like? Because my guess is
I haven't
it would be
seen
the
it.
same thing with a jack for 3.5.
Oh, that'll be great.
Because that way your old stuff still works. You don't have to replace your headset, and you can plug in like your iPhone headphones if you want to like listen to game audio and chat at night.
That's what I want.
That's the best thing about the
Yeah.
PS4 controller is like, oh, I'll just plug in my iPhone headphones and I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to be able to plug in any headphones, like even just your iPhone headphones, that's a huge advantage of the PlayStation 4 controller. But I feel like, I don't know, Microsoft's long-term game always seemed to be kind of like to replace the Xbox party chat system with the Skype codec because they bought Skype and now it's like
Yes.
integrated into their system. So it seems like
I'm surprised
there's
they just-
probably a lot more going on the back end
I'm
from
sure.
a technical
Yeah.
aspect that they want to do in the future.
Have any of you guys used Skype on your Xbox One?
Yeah, I
do
use
it
it.
all
I
the
used
time.
it constantly when party chat was broken.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still do it
I was
all the
just
time
wondering.
because-
Yeah,
'cause
no,
I
it's definitely
haven't
useful.
used it.
I use Skype for
Oh.
all my PC gaming stuff too.
It's
like,
great.
We don't use TeamSpeak.
I mean, like,
Have you
we're
used it
using
on
Skype.
your Xbox One? Though?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's great.
Why?
The
Just
interface
curious.
I was
kinda
just wondering
sucks,
if you
but-
guys did, 'cause I haven't.
Yeah, like I was just about to say, the UI is a little weird and it's kind
Yeah.
of hard to like add people to calls
Yeah.
or like join calls or
I
whatever.
would
but
use
like,
it. I would use it on a computer separately,
Yeah.
and then use my Xbox.
Sure, yeah.
but like,
bring your laptop out.
I've been playing a lot
exactly.
of I've been playing a lot of Destiny with Alfredo, and he streams, and so to be part of the conversation, you got to be on Skype with him,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so we're always on Skype, me, him, and a couple of other dudes, and the quality of audio is so great. There's very little lag or like delay at all, and it's reliable, and it's actually nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Skype gets a lot of hate, man. I like Skype a lot.
But
Yeah.
so point being for this new slightly revamped controller, I applaud it. I'm glad that it has the 3.5 jack built in. We won't need an adapter anymore because for me this is the Xbox One controller is the best. I know,
so
subjective
cool.
opinion, but I think it's the best gaming controller.
Nope,
Uh,
objective fact. You're wrong if you disagree.
The triggers are awesome.
Yeah.
The sticks are fantastic.
Staggered
Just the-
sticks, too,
yeah,
are
the-
just something I
yeah,
like
the
way
offsets
better.
My
are
only
so
thing with that
great.
controller,
Yeah.
and this is like, I don't know, we're talking 2 years out from this thing's launch. The right and left bumper.
Yeah,
think
I don't
it's-
like the bumpers.
I don't
See,
like
a lot
them.
of people
They're
say
weird.
that. I don't have
Yeah.
any
They
issue
don't-
with
do
the
you-
flick
you-
is
you
nice.
play
I
with
always-
flick is nice.
Hooked fingers though, because I like rest my fingers on top of it, and I feel like I need to use the bottom of my finger to hit that button.
No, I just reach up for them when I need them.
Okay.
I like roll. I like kind of. I press I press the bumper
interesting.
with like not my finger, but like,
Like the inside?
knuckle part of my
Interesting.
finger. You know, like I just kind
This is
of.
really impossible to talk about if you don't have.
Yeah,
the
if you don't have a
this
controller, it's
podcast.
very difficult to demonstrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're just listening to the audio, you're like,
You're like, what are these guys on about?
Imagine a hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, look for the new 3.5 millimeter headset jack enabled Xbox One controller. I'm sure it will be official at E3.
I'm sure it'll be like, and it's out now.
Yeah, probably
It's in
almost
stores
certainly.
today.
So if you're thinking about buying a new controller, maybe
Wait.
hold off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ever so
they're gonna go on
slightly.
sale.
Let's see here. Got to write down the time code.
Yep.
'cause
I could
we
have
got-
made a headphone segue into Guitar Hero, but I couldn't come up with anything clever.
So instead, you'll
So,
just read the headline.
Yeah.
Pretty good,
Guitar
Dustin.
Hero Live's next 10 songs were announced. Ryan, I know you're not happy about this.
Well, it's just that, I mean, so
Just
there's a couple
not
things
quite
here.
what you were looking for?
They've been doing a thing on the Guitar Hero Facebook page, which we cover every week on IGN. It's #Tracklist Tuesday, which is fine. They're announcing like 10 songs a week.
Right.
This week,
All the power to them.
Queen, Alice in Chains, Bullet for My Valentine, Deep Deep Valley.
Diap Valley.
Someone with a spelling problem. Wolf Mother, Weezer, Angus and Julia Stone, Catfish and the Bottlemen, Neon Trees, and New Politics. Which, okay, so we're still...
Some seem okay.
I've heard of half of those bands.
Sure.
And again, I understand...
Discovering music through the music games is great, too.
It is great, and I understand that Guitar Hero is not being made for me. I'm too old. It is being made for the 20-somethings.
For the children's.
For the kids. But the other thing that I was actually specifically dug into this, these songs are not all on-disc songs.
Oh, are they for Guitar Hero TV?
They
Oh,
are.
no.
Well, it's a mix. These are just songs that they will have eventually. I think they are
Interesting.
But they're not explicitly lying to anyone, but I think they're allowing people to believe that these tracks that they're announcing, these 10 tracks they announce every Tuesday, are all on-disc tracks, and that is not the case. We don't know which of these songs will actually ship with the game that you pay for, and which ones will be as a presumably subscription-based Guitar Hero TV.
We should
So
Activision,
borrow your pen,
please
'cause I would like
stop
to make a
giving me
note that we need to
reasons
dig into
not
this.
to like your game.
So I'm not accusing. I'm not saying.
I'm saying this is another reason why I'm not going to buy Guitar Hero Live.
I'm just saying that it would be nice if Activision would be a little more clear about this, like even put a little asterisk that says next to certain songs denotes on disc, denotes out of the box track.
They didn't do that? How'd you find out then? They just
I
called
don't.
it.
No. These are. That's what I'm saying is the ones I just read.
Yeah.
Just like every week with these Tracklist Tuesdays are a mix of on disc songs and stuff they'll have later.
That's shady.
So
Yeah.
Not a fan of that.
Don't do that.
yeah, we still
Tell us
only
what's
know,
on the disc.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still only know the first 6 songs for Rock Band 4, but I can assure you that as soon as Harmonix is ready to confirm more, we will have it.
Yeah,
totally.
or the ones that they've announced are definitely there, like when you buy the game.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like imagine seeing seeing one of these. What is it? A tweet, Facebook
post.
whatever. That imagine seeing a Facebook post like that and being like, "I love these songs,"
Right.
and then you go buy the game and they're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that would be the biggest sting.
So that's
Yeah.
what Activision's doing. Meanwhile, at Harmonix,
I like. Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
Continue. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Rock
plus.
Band 360 instruments are 100% going to work on Xbox One. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is
They,
awesome.
Yeah.
they'd been saying the whole time since they announced the game back in March, we are hoping for this to happen. We're working with Microsoft and Sony, but they had been very, very careful to not promise anything. Now they're promising.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is great. It's going to save you money. You're not going to have to buy new instruments if you kept your old ones. I think this is great for the consumer.
It's also-
it's nothing but
hasn't-
good. There's
hasn't-
nothing bad about this.
Hasn't Rock Band also? It's kind of gone along with their philosophy, which is like your old DLC and songs and all that stuff is transferring over as well,
Correct.
right? So
Yep.
it's kind of just like part and parcel
Yeah.
of this whole like, hey, the experience you bought and paid for before is coming with you.
And one
I
of
like
the
that.
one of the IGN commenters
Good on them.
Yeah.
on this article made a good point, and I've personally witnessed this just like walking my dog around the neighborhood. If you go to like a flea market or garage sale,
You
you
can
could
get
probably
the whole
get
set.
like people getting rid of their Rock Band gear. You probably get yourself a guitar for $1 at
Yeah.
somebody's garage
Yeah.
sale or flea market,
or
Now
just
that
buy the dumpster.
now that you know it's going to work. So it's all there. That's
my
all
God.
good news. I should point out on Xbox, it's going to require an adapter, which they just said will be low cost, and that's not to
$10 and under.
I would
That's
suspect
what I
that
would
means
guess,
10.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
I'd
with
probably
you.
guess like 5 or something.
I'll bet it's 10.
Yeah,
if I were
$9.99.
a betting man, which I am.
$9.99.
Yeah.
We never make bets on this show.
I could just imagine Destin like seeing a bunch of instruments at like someone's garage sale and then going up and buying them, and someone's like, "What are you interested in these for?" And he's like, "I'm starting a band."
So I spoke to Harmonix about this, and the reason it is not to bilk you out of money, because I think Harmonix has made it clear that they're trying to service fans as much as
I mean, they're
as they can.
genuinely like not to just kind of like play
Nickel and dime you.
up those guys because they were our IGN first or anything, but like genuinely, that is a studio that is probably the least greedy video game
That
developer
is
I've
true.
ever
Yeah. That is a fact.
seen in my life.
Yeah,
Hence
and we've
Amplitude
been to
too.
a lot of gaming studios in our
Yeah,
time.
and there are some greedy ones for sure.
And so
they're not one of them.
The reason is, and it's purely a technical reason. It's because the wireless communication protocol on the 360 is completely different than the one on Xbox One. So they need a physical adapter.
They
to
need
get
a
them to talk-
handshaker.
to talk to
Yeah.
each other. Whereas on PS3 and PS4, it's both Bluetooth.
just Bluetooth.
And so the PS3 instruments had a dongle on PS3, so you just
love
use,
that word.
Isn't it great?
Dude,
It's
my
such a great
favorite.
word.
My favorite.
So funny, and I don't know why.
It is fantastic.
Dongle.
So the existing PS3 dongle will work just plugging it into PS4. But so Xbox owners have to buy a cheap adapter. So what are you gonna do?
Here's a question.
It's cheaper than buying a whole new guitar or drums.
That's true.
Guitar Hero instruments would work with Rock Band. So will these work with this adapter?
So I specifically asked. I followed up after our story went up. I reached out to our contact at Harmonix, and again, they were careful. They're not promising anything because it's not their stuff. They just said it should work, but they were very, very careful not to promise anything.
Yeah.
But
That's smart.
I would
it's the
imagine
same-
they talk the same
it's
way,
gotta
yeah.
work. Yeah, it's
They
gotta
don't
work.
care what instrument you use, just
They don't.
enjoy their game.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you've still got any of the old Guitar Hero instruments, which they made some really good guitars.
Yeah.
I didn't like the
Yeah.
Guitar Hero drums.
Yeah, they had the
But I
weird
didn't either.
symbol.
But I love, the Guitar Hero guitars are fantastic. Those should work with this adapter if you've got it.
Cool.
Take us out of here.
Also cool. Wait. Oh, yes. Take us out as into the next story.
No, not the next story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't like this next story. Somebody else can.
So
I also don't like this next story.
I don't think anyone here likes this next
Yeah.
story. E3
But our
is going
audience
to
is gonna
be
love it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
E3.
Come on.
It has a good headline for the audience. E3.
You can come to E3 potentially.
E3
maybe.
is now open to the public, kind
Sort
of.
of.
Yeah.
You know what
so
E3 was missing?
why?
5,000 people who
Yeah.
aren't working.
So 4 to 5,000 tickets are being handed out by the ESEA to vendors who bring a lot of business to the show. So like Square Enix and
The
EA
publishers,
and
yeah.
like Sony, Microsoft. So these people can hand out like specifically to tickets to certain people
Yeah, the ESA
who are not part of the press.
The ESA
this
has not
is-
announced when or how these tickets are going to be made.
They're running out
available.
of time.
All we know is that like actually, if you've been following some of these game companies on Twitter, like Square's the first one I saw, but Square's like they put out a tweet that's like, "Do you want to come to E3? Follow us on Twitter and tell us why, and you may get a crazy like code in a DM or something like that."
Because I want to come
It's a-
to E3.
It's a brilliant marketing strategy, and I guarantee you it generated them a lot of followers. But like you guys all pointed out, the last thing that show needs is an extra 5,000 people walking around there.
And this
I'm gonna sound entitled, but this is for like investors
Yeah.
and press,
Yeah.
and it's already overcrowded. I don't need 5,000 more people trying to play Fallout 4 so that I can do a piece about your game and
Yeah.
give you free advertising.
So yeah, it does.
know?
It is awfully difficult to. Well, not. I wouldn't call it awfully difficult. You put yourself in a little bit of a predicament saying that this isn't a good thing because you're telling people who can't presumably get into the show that they don't deserve to be there. But listen, man, like I've worked that show. I'm one of the guys who's on the floor every day, and it is packed, and it is difficult to get what you need to do done.
To get where
and
you're
it's your
going.
job. Yeah, like.
Yeah.
It's my job to go out and cover these games so that I can
Yeah.
put them up on the site so that our viewers and our listeners and our readers can get that content.
Yeah.
And every 1, every 2, every 3, every 4, 5,000 people there that is preventing me from doing that just so that they can play the games, like that actually ends up hurting what we do as a business.
yeah.
That being said, if I was a teenager again, because
Oh, yeah.
when I was a teenager,
You'd be ecstatic,
Before
right?
E3, there was CES in Vegas. That's where the games were. I always wanted to go to CES in Vegas to see video games that I would read about in EGM. So if I were a teenager now, this would be like the coolest thing ever.
This
for
is the
me.
golden ticket.
I would. Yeah, it's Willy Wonka's. Exactly. I would do anything to be able
Yep.
to get the chance to go to E3.
And it is a total, like, I totally share that sentiment, but being on the inside of the industry has really warped my perspective in that
So
way, right?
I
Like-
Here's how I got my first opportunity to go to E3, and I couldn't afford it. I wrote for an outlet for like a year, and then I had a chance, maybe, like that was your reward. You got to go to E3.
You got
know?
entered the lottery.
And then they were like, "Yeah, you can come but you have to pay your own flight and hotel." And I couldn't afford it, so I couldn't go to like the big one where the PS2 and the Wii and stuff were revealed.
Wow.
So
Bummer.
that sucked. I went the next year though.
Yeah.
But the point is, I had to do something to be given that chance, and not just tweet at some major company and win a lottery.
Yeah.
Here's
why-
like angry Destin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming out.
I want to give everybody a pro tip. Should you, dear listener or viewer, be one of the people that earns himself a pass into E3?
Congratulations.
Here's a pro tip for you. Don't even waste your time lining up for
At
whatever
Nintendo.
the big thing Nintendo is showing.
Yeah.
So as the show is now, which is, there are a lot of retail, like Best Buy employees, GameStop folks. For whatever the big thing Nintendo's showing, whether it's a theater presentation of Zelda, which won't be this year, or whatever it is year after
A
year.
hypothetical Metroid. Actually, it's probably Star Fox.
Yeah,
because they talked about that already.
The line for Nintendo, the main, whatever the star attraction at Nintendo's booth is literally so long, and
That's
not,
the press
hold on,
line.
not-
That's the
no,
early
that's
press
not,
line.
No, I'm talking about the.
Oh, when it opens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so long that that's all you would do for the entire day is wait on that line to see that one thing. I would advise you, don't waste
do
your
that.
time,
Do it the
watch
last
it on
day.
the internet or read about it on IGN and go see other things
other
at the
guys.
show.
That's the other thing is while it would obviously be like as a as a non-industry person an opportunity of a lifetime to go see E3 if you're a big video games person, like those of us who've worked the show know that it actually like experiencing the show is actually better done from your computer.
Dude, I straight up, I was on the
true.
third day of E3, like 2 or 3 years ago. It was before I was at IGN. I was on the show floor on the third day, and I finally, for the first time, got to West Hall.
Oh my.
And I got there, and I was like, "Holy! They announced a new Mario?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And it's like that is the life. You are on the floor, and you are
Well,
oblivious to everything you are not covering.
you're in
Two
the
wings.
You're in the
Yeah.
eye of the hurricane, and
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
see everything that's going on. That being said, I wouldn't trade being at E3 for anything.
No,
I
it's
love
great.
Yeah.
being there
Yes.
every year. It's so much fun. It's Christmas morning stretched out over like 4 days.
Yep.
Although now 5, thanks to Bethesda going on Sunday night. But E3 is a blast. So yeah,
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
if you get to
Yeah.
go through this like 5,000 extra passes thing to the public, just like I said, just skip Nintendo, read about that later. Use your time. You have to budget your time wisely, and Nintendo will not be a
Yeah,
good use
because
of
you're gonna
that.
start waiting in a lot of lines.
2 things.
That's what's gonna happen.
Please forgive us if we are in a rush and can't hang out and see you.
Yes.
Number 2.
Yeah.
if
Let's
you
say
see-
hi if you can.
Please do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be hi. I got to go. Sorry.
So this is the thing. I totally forgot about this. Max Scoville started this at PAX. I want to keep it going. If you see Marty Sleva at E3,
Oh.
just yell the word Battletoads at him.
Oh yeah,
That's it. Just yell Battletoads at Marty.
just to cause him a little like
Just to make him twitch.
just make a blood vessel just burst in his eye.
This is amazing.
it was
so
enormously successful and very funny at PAX.
But yeah, if you do happen to run into me, it's actually more likely that I'll literally run into you as I'm dashing to my next appointment because
Yep.
the convention center is enormous, and you got to get to your
Hey man,
next
great to meet you. I
appointment.
gotta go. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, love you. See you at Unlocked 200 next week. Woo, bye. All right. E3.
I hope this 5,000 tickets every year isn't permanent.
Oh, I certainly hope not.
Yeah.
Because
You know what is permanent? Evolve.
Man, you gotta like put your heart in this one.
Take-Two
Jesus
CEO Strauss
Christ.
I
Zelnick
want you to bring
sees
your-
Evolve as a permanent franchise.
I want you to bring your A game next week because
I don't
it's the
think
last.
that was that bad.
If Jesus Christ, if you're this bad on the live show, you gotta warm up, man.
All right, I'll work on it.
By the
But
way,
yeah.
should I guess next week I'll announce our special guest for the Microsoft Xbox pre and post show that I'm. I'll
Hosting?
wait till next week.
Probably a
Say
good
that?
idea.
You're
Yeah.
hosting a pre and post show?
Yeah, the pre-show and post-show for the Xbox conference.
I don't know. Like, what if we can't do a show next week?
Well, it can't be me.
Well,
'cause I'm
there's
there.
going to be a podcast next week. It's just a matter of if it's
Audio
if
or
it's-
filmed,
if it's
yeah.
filmed.
All right,
I'll
so-
make sure it gets
We'll
done
try. Yeah,
somehow.
we'll try and get it.
Remind
I'll
filmed.
bring my
Yeah.
personal crappy camera if I have to.
Remind me, guys, next week to announce our special guest is specifically for the Xbox show, the Xbox.
We could
pre-show.
record Monday.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll figure it out
there's
next
options.
week.
It's
It's
all
fine.
good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Evolve, Destin.
So Evolve, I don't like that game very much. Take-Two CEO
It's really
Strauss
good.
Zelnick.
It gets so much.
I didn't like Left 4 Dead that much either, and I know that's like
Really?
Wait a minute.
Wow.
You're
played through the-
fired from the
Crazy.
podcast.
I just
Holy.
not look. I'm allowed to not be into every
Filthy.
game that everybody likes.
Filthy casual.
You know?
Filthy
Yeah.
casual.
They're
This
good
scrub.
games. I understand why they're good games. They're just not for me.
Fair
You
enough,
know?
I understand.
I'm the same with Fallout and Skyrim.
Destin's
like,
tastes are of a
Yep.
different.
All right,
ilk.
so
Yeah.
Evolve.
Like Mitch doesn't like Fallout, and I
What?
love Fallout. I love
Evolve
wandering
is an
it.
excellent video
Sorry,
game
yeah.
that got a stink of overpriced DLC and
Yeah.
not enough content
Yeah.
attached to it. Whether that's fair or not, which it half is and half isn't, it's a good video game.
It is.
but it
Objectively,
seemingly didn't sell that well. But
It's a permanent franchise, according to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, who sees it that way.
yeah, he says, "quote I think we come out of that experience, meaning shipping the Evolve,
Yeah.
reminding ourselves we have to have a strong single-player opportunity, but we knew that about Evolve. Okay, then why
where
didn't
was
you
it?
ship
Yeah.
Yeah.
He continues, quote, "We think we've developed another permanent IP, but if there was something lacking, I would say it would be that it was probably a bit too multiplayer focused, which we knew all along."
So again, why was it like that?
So my thing is that I
It's not
bet
a
the publisher knew,
campaign.
they tried to get them to make a campaign, and the game that developer was making in the time they had with the money they had was multiplayer only, no campaign.
Yeah.
Campaigns are not cheap.
Yeah.
No, it would have taken probably another 9 to 12 months.
Yeah.
to
All
do
new
that.
mocap, voice acting cast.
Oh, sure.
you know,
Level design, potentially.
or at least
writers.
bring in the existing cast to do the mocap,
New
writer,
levels.
concept
Yeah.
art, level
So,
design.
I didn't play Evolve,
Yeah.
but is there any like context to
Yes,
the
there
story
there
of what
definitely
you're
is.
doing
It's
there?
very light.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they
Kinda
do set
told
up a
as you play
universe.
through
and-
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that is my biggest complaint is like as someone who single player campaigns contextualize what you're actually doing as part of the game and kind of what you're there for, and without that you have to really rely on the strongest and deepest gameplay in order to get legs, and it just takes like you don't make games like that very
Yeah.
often
I'll say
anymore.
That's
the-
why I'm confused about Battlefront. Like, if you want a Star Wars story related to Battlefront, you have 3 films.
The blessing and the curse of Evolve for me was we were blessed to play a ton of that game before it came out, between preview events and E3 and IGN first month we
PAX,
did.
every
and,
PAX.
Yeah.
And I had an amazing time because every time I did that, it was with you guys. It was with my friends. When the game came out, I actually didn't play it when it finally came out because I kind of felt like
we had the experience
I'd
already.
done it already, and since there was if there'd been a single player campaign, I definitely would have played that.
well,
on
you
my own.
probably would
So-
have played that beforehand too, though.
not all of it. There's
Yeah,
no
that's
way I
true.
would have
That's
played
true.
the whole thing since
Yeah.
I didn't review the game. But
Uh-huh.
so it seems like not only will Evolve 2 happen, which again, given the sort of anecdotal circumstances and evidence around that game is maybe something of a surprise. There will seemingly be an Evolve 2, and we can basically bank on it having a full-blown single-player campaign, which is also what we're hoping and expecting from Titanfall 2.
Oh, yeah.
Another
This is
game
my
that's-
big question, though, is Titanfall 2 will certainly be in development at Respawn. Do you guys think that Evolve 2 will happen at Turtle Rock? Because that is a studio that walked away from Left 4 Dead 2. Like,
Well,
Valve made that.
Oh,
What
I
else?
think at this point they have to.
Well, it's not like they have some.
You know.
It's not like they have a long history of walking away
Sure.
and not doing sequels.
Sure, and it's not like they are anti-campaign necessarily, but their bread and butter is really smart multiplayer design.
That's true.
just have our meetings with those guys. They seem like they love Evolve and they love working on Evolve. So I don't see why they would be against doing a sequel.
Yeah.
You're suggesting maybe farming out the campaign to a different developer,
Or
for
even the
Evolve
sequel.
2?
Like,
Oh,
they might
separate.
want to move on, right? Like, they don't, like, every game they've done has been different and new, and I wonder
Yeah.
if they do evolve, if they're even going to be involved in a sequel.
It could
It's
happen.
possible. It's possible. I think the more likely scenario would be the campaign
Yeah.
being farmed
Yeah.
out while
To, like,
Turtle Rock
to
works
another
on the
2K studio
multiplayer.
or
Yeah.
something.
Maybe like 2K
Split it
Australia
up.
or something like
Yeah.
that. The 2K Australia game we never got to play, which was XCOM. Yeah. The first-person
Man.
Bioshock style game. that-
Oh yeah, I went and saw that with you.
Oh, that
Yep.
never. Oh wow.
Remember, it got scrapped, and then it started. They restarted with something else,
And it became
scrapped
the
it,
Bureau.
and then it eventually released as the Bureau.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But I saw that game.
But it was totally different as the Bureau. Like
Yes.
when it finally
Oh,
came
yeah.
out.
Big time.
I
No,
remember
the-
seeing that at E3 like 3 years in a row behind closed doors. And then it came out, and I was like, "That's not
Yeah.
even anything."
No,
Oh,
the-
it was
the-
totally different.
the vertical slice that I saw. I wrote a cover story on it that's
remember
published
that.
and exists.
Yep.
Yeah.
In OXM. It was a first-person game called XCOM, set in the 50s. It was XCOM was set like their HQ was underneath the bowels of an Air Force base.
Yeah.
And you could wander freely in that between missions. And then
I was
you pick your
excited to
mission.
play that game.
And yeah, the vertical slice mission was set in Flagstaff, Arizona, and you wandered through the neighborhood in this house, like and the aliens were this black goo, which was cooler than it sounds,
Yeah.
than what I'm describing it as. But it was very spooky. There was sort of a photo you'd like take pictures. It's very Bioshock.
I mean, you were like kind of a Pinkerton guy, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the like crazy geometric freak alien thing forms up in the sky and starts like
Shooting at
shooting
you.
giant lasers to to try and kill you. And
Then it had a Mass Effect time slowdown mechanic and stuff like that, right?
I
Yeah,
don't-
you would give
combat.
orders to your guys, I
Yeah.
think, and it would.
You control your
yeah.
characters.
Yeah, no, it's a game that I still want to play that version of the
I
game.
like that game.
Anyway.
I was really excited about that.
But yeah, so I suspect Evolve 2 will probably get announced maybe next year's E3. Who knows? Maybe that's too soon. I don't know.
I would be excited to play that campaign because those character designs are really cool. I like their banter in the ship. I would love to know more about their story.
Well, and the AI is already built. I mean, you can play Evolve by yourself, and the AI is actually very competent
It is,
on
yeah.
both the friendlies and the monsters.
I've lost to AI monsters.
Yeah,
it's good.
So this is all good news. I'm totally down for an Evolve 2 that has a proper single player campaign, and other improvements. Sean Finnegan,
Yeah.
I would like you to tell us, please, what we can spend our money on this week on Xbox.
Yeah, so on the digital front, we have Game of Thrones Episode 4, Sons of Winter. That's $5. We're only to Episode 4, huh?
That's supposed to be like a really good episode.
It was-
though.
Yeah,
It was
Dan
really-
Stapleton loved it. I just
I
need to play
liked it.
I heard a
played
lot
it.
of
Yeah,
good.
it was good. I'm still kind of waiting. There were a couple of great scenes, and the rest of it was fine.
Do we know
but-
that there are 5 episodes?
Six.
Six.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to wait even more time. Like, I played the
get the
first
season
one,
pass.
and I have the season pass.
Oh,
I'm just
Start playing it.
well, no.
You're
I
you
mean,
want to play it as one?
Yeah, I want to play it as one continuous thing. I don't like this whole let's play an episode, wait 2.5 months, and then come back to it and you're like, what was happening? Like, I don't remember.
Well, fortunately, Telltale has addressed that. They've now started doing previously on.
Yeah, which helps, but
Just like actually the show has too.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, the show has started doing that.
yeah.
Man, last week's
which,
episode was
So
Oh
good.
my
So
god,
good.
so
Yeah.
good, dude.
Hard Home was incredible.
Yeah. We won't talk spoilers, obviously, but if you haven't
Good
seen
episode.
that should be maybe the very next thing you decide to do.
God, that last 20 minutes is just spectacular.
What else?
Yeah. Moving on, we have the Evil Within digital bundle, which is $80
Don't
on
get
Xbox
that.
Oh, that's-
One.
wait,
Includes
is
all of
this-
the season pass content.
I feel
What
like
is
we
that?
talked about that before.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Don't get that.
Oh yeah.
Go
no, I-
buy
okay.
it used or
Sorry,
something.
I
There's
think,
so
I
many
think
other
actually,
ways you
this
can
is
get
sorry.
that
This is
content.
leftover from last week. This
Oh
is
yeah,
not-
it's
This is
it's-
old.
But
Never mind
nothing,
any of that
nothing came
stuff.
out this week. At least nothing in.
Keep going. I'm
major-
gonna bring it up on
Oh.
Smart Glass and
Yeah.
see what we can find out.
Skip to Marketplace. 'cause
Yeah.
that's-
Got it. Skipping on to Marketplace. Over the weekend, Halo 3 ODST came out. I got a code while I was playing Destiny, and I was like, oh, thank you.
You know what I
At
found
like
out?
3 in the morning.
I want
So-
to talk about
My
that, too.
absolute favorite feature on Xbox One. Microsoft sent me a code for that. Like that's how it
You
arrives.
could redeem
Yeah.
the code.
and then you
Yeah.
just hit
You
redeem
just
code and
redeem
it's
the
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I did that. I was playing Destiny and I got a message and it was like, this isn't from someone I know. And then I opened it. It's like, here's your code for Master Chief, or for it says MCCC
ODST, yeah.
Halo 3 ODST.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, how I have to write this code down. And I was like, wait, there's a dot button.
Oh
I
my
have to
god,
dot.
it's so
I
good.
click it and it's like redeem, boom, done, there. Awesome.
Don't forget, this also has the relic map for Halo 2 Anniversary, the 7th map,
Ooh.
which is really good. I just ran around. I haven't actually played a match on it yet, but I'm actually reviewing. I'm going to review ODST
Oh,
because
awesome.
Nice.
If you need a teammate, let me know.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll
absolutely.
co-op
Well,
with you.
Yeah, if there's
Aren't you guys doing that on the live?
You're
we
playing
are-
it live on
yeah.
Friday.
yeah, we're gonna
on
play it
iTunes
live
Plays
on Friday too if you want to
1
watch
p.m.
it.
Pacific Friday.
It's because it is if you aren't getting it free because it's people who bought it before I think it was maybe early December, the people that bought it the first month, the people that purchased Master Chief Collection the first month it was out, those are the people that are getting ODST for free.
Because it was so bugged when it.
I thought it had
that's the
something to do
apology.
with
Yeah.
Everybody else, it's $5.
Yeah.
Now to be
Pretty
that,
good deal.
that $5, this does not include Firefight, which sucks. But hey, $5 is pretty cheap. So I'm gonna review ODST because it's I already have some new thoughts on it coming back to it.
Wow.
5 years
Interesting.
later, as opposed to what I thought. So
Go see that
yeah,
Destiny Easter egg. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's
love
talk about that real quick. Let's
God,
talk
did
about
I
that.
laugh.
So
Why? Why did they take it out?
Right?
It's so ridiculous.
So salty.
Yeah.
hold on. So Frank O'Connor, the
yeah,
franchise.
this was addressed, right?
This was
yeah.
because NeoGaf did the same thing.
Yeah.
This is
Ridiculous.
Super
So
petty,
wait, let's
this
back
is
up even
lame.
further. If you don't know what we're talking about, there is an Easter egg in Halo 3 ODST about
on 360.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Which was
About
in
Destiny.
there long before Destiny was ever announced. It's a poster.
Yeah.
On some of the
On a
interior
wall in
globe
like a
that
totally
says-
in a
it has-
smaller
building.
circle.
It has a picture of Earth and it says Destiny awaits. It's meant to be like a travel
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah.
But of course, it was an Easter egg for
Yeah.
their
For
next
Destiny.
game.
Yeah.
Now it's been removed, which Frank explained on NeoGAF, not as a petty move, but he says it was to avoid any potential legal troubles. I believe him, other than like they weren't using the logo in any
Yeah.
way. It's literally
Yeah.
just it seems a little skeptical, but whatever.
But it did
That's
hint
the
at
end.
the
We're worried about the
Traveler,
legal
right?
implications in this game that we are literally plagiarizing.
Yeah. They bought the rights
They
to
own
it,
it.
and all of its intellectual. They own Halo.
Well, no, but they don't own Destiny.
I think it would have
But
been
it's not
fine. Like
Destiny.
that was
I-
an
I-
asset
I
in the
understand.
original.
I know.
game.
But that's
I-
where the
I'm with you.
legal, that's where the legal like
I'm with
gray
you.
area is. Is like, is
Maybe
it
there
though?
was
Because
legal
it is,
trouble,
right?
and he
Right.
didn't want to call it out or bring light
Or
to it. So.
more likely, because we know how litigious America is.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't use the logo.
Yeah.
And it's a block of plain text that says Destiny awaits with a picture of Earth, which is not the Destiny logo.
Yeah.
I do like
I'll-
the new poster a lot, though.
We'll get to that in a second, but lawyers could probably even just threaten to sue.
Oh yeah.
And then they have
And
to
then
settle.
it's like, they have to spend money just to make the threat go away. So they probably wanted to
Ugh.
just avoid it entirely. I agree, it's lame. You should have left it as like just a nod to Bungie. But the new poster, Mitch.
what is it?
Yeah, it's the same thing, a picture or a poster of Earth, but the text above it just says "for her."
Which
Okay.
is Finnegan? Is that a reference to Cortana in Halo
That's
5
how I
and the
read it.
search for Cortana?
That's how I read it.
So
maybe,
they've
yeah.
taken one future predictive Easter egg and
I mean,
turned
like,
it into another one.
It's not even really like when you read the sentence "for her," you're like, for who? There's
Earth.
it could only be but I mean it could in my mind the only her in
Cortana.
Halo is Cortana. So
Dr. Halsey.
yeah, and I mean there's like
Wow.
Sarah.
there's- Yeah, wait, Sarah the
Kelly,
Spartan.
Linda?
Who was
Yeah.
I was gonna say the main one of the main characters in 3 was Keyes' daughter. What's her name?
That was
Miranda.
Miranda,
Keyes.
yeah, Miranda Keyes. Like,
also,
there's her too, but
the
like
leader in
that's-
ODST is a woman.
Oh, yeah.
It's Trisha Helfer.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Oh,
no,
yeah.
but I completely agree. I think it's totally a reference to Halo 5
Yeah.
and the search for Cortana.
I mean, I interpreted it as like protect Earth, right? Like we are doing this to protect
Earth.
Earth from the Covenant, but at the same time, like maybe it's a little nod to something to come.
I have a slight bone to pick about the UI design of this
Oh,
because I got
how you-
really mad
how
on
you
Twitter.
access-
Interesting.
I got
Yeah.
really mad on Twitter. I'm like,
That
where
surprises
is
me.
it? So you go into campaign and it shows Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, and I'm like, where's ODST?
it's under Halo 3.
So,
Yeah.
so you go campaign, and then Halo 3, and then it's embedded in there. You
It's-
have to
it's
switch
kinda
between
buried,
the
yeah.
two Halo 3
That's unfortunate.
I mean, it's
So,
a part of Halo 3.
I seriously
But
restarted
it's
the
not.
game.
It's its own game.
It's
no,
a
but I mean,
standalone thing.
it is called Halo 3 ODST.
I restarted the game 4 times thinking like it did an update
Oh,
or
man.
something. I'm like, where is it? And then finally I'm like, oh, it's buried 3 things deep in the UI. That's
Going
silly.
back and playing that game is so cool because it's like stylistically, it's very different than the other
Yeah,
Halos. Like it's
yeah.
I
very
love.
unique.
It's the slowest Halo game there
yeah,
is.
it's very slow. It's very like.
by design.
Well, you're
Yeah.
human. You're not Master Chief. That's
Well,
the
no,
whole
I mean
premise.
not even in
Like,
terms of just
yeah.
gameplay.
Tempo,
I'm talking
right.
about
Oh,
like
yeah.
pacing. Like the way the story unravels is very like kind of noirish. Even the style
Yep.
of the art is very noirish. Like it's dark a lot of the time.
Also-
the music.
sexy
that's-
saxophones.
Yeah,
I
it's very
think-
moody.
So for me, Halo 2 is the best soundtrack. Marty O'Donnell, who is a genius, ever. The most genius of his genius work. I think ODST is the next best one.
Yeah.
ODST is my favorite Halo game.
So good.
I gotta play it
Well,
again.
I
wouldn't
see
go
if
that
my
far.
see if my
I
opinion.
love Halo 3.
love
I mean,
it.
as I'm a huge Halo fanboy, so I love ODST.
But-
it's I can't say
Yeah,
it's the
I'll
best.
be so
Have
I'll
Nolan
be
North's in it.
I'll
3
be
is the
coming at
best.
my
fact.
I'll be coming at my review with looking at this in 2015, and again I haven't played it since I played it a couple times, but only when it came out.
Yeah.
So
Play it this weekend?
I started it.
Oh, okay.
So I will have a review of this, sort of taking into account the fact that most of the people that are going to play it probably didn't play it.
Yeah.
Back in 2009. So
I tried to convince all my buddies to buy it and play it because we played a lot of Halo 3, and they were like, "No, why?" And then they never did, and they missed out. Me and Destin were gonna play it over the weekend, but then Comcast was down.
Oh yeah.
Oh
the
my God,
big
that was
DNS
annoying.
disaster.
I was like, guess we're not playing ODST.
all right,
Just use Google DNS, y'all.
Shit,
Yeah.
Seriously.
I do now.
I didn't know how to do that.
Google
though.
DNS is awesome.
Yeah.
The
I'm not gonna do that on an Xbox.
show is running along. Let's take
Yeah,
a quick
that's-
break.
all right, fine.
Musical interlude. Come back and do Unlock Block Trivia. I've got some sweet prizes thanks to
Nice.
your donations. We'll be right back.
Download Massive Chalice for free.
All right, trivia time. Let me bust out the scoring update. Our winner this week, while I do that, is John Wright of the Stay on Target podcast, who just celebrated his 100th episode. Congratulations, John. His Twitter
dude.
is at JohnWright777. His gamer tag, if you want to make a new friend on Xbox, fellow listener of the show, Labella6, Labella, the number 6. And so, gentlemen, let's see where we stand here. We've got Mitch in the lead by himself, 9 points. Destin and Marty with 8. Sean, you got to catch up. You're at 6.
Yep.
So, I have, by the way, a code for the Master Chief Collection, kindly donated, if anybody would like it, as well as a code for Witcher 3 on PC.
Nice.
Somebody got it with their video card and
That's
already
great.
had it on Xbox. So very kind to donate it if you'd like to play the game on PC. So I will give, of course, I let the winner choose each week, depending on what I have left. So John Wright sends in this. In honor of Igarashi's successful Kickstarter for the Castlevania spiritual successor, this question is about the first Castlevania game to come to Xbox. When Symphony of the Night came to Live Arcade in 2006, it was the first game to exceed the file size restriction that Microsoft had instituted on all Xbox Live Arcade titles at the time. What was the file size restriction for all previous Xbox Live Arcade titles before Symphony of the Night? Was it 35 megs, 40, 50, or 64? Everybody's writing down their answers?
Yeah,
Yes?
right down.
I don't need to write mine down. I already yelled mine at you.
That's true.
I didn't even look at the question, and I guessed
Okay.
my letter.
Pen back, please. Thank you.
I think Sean might get it.
Mitch is very confident, so I'll wait to go to him.
I didn't even look at the question.
Destin?
I wrote C, but I should know this answer because I worked at a tester and this was a constant
Nice.
topic.
Fail.
And yeah, I'd worked for like a week.
So you're going with 50 megs.
I told Ryan
Yeah.
at the beginning of the show I'm not even going to look at the question. I'm going to say C,
Going
and
with
I'm
C.
sticking with it.
I think
Finnegan.
it's
I think
64. I think it's D.
I think you're right because like 32 megs, 64
Yeah,
megs.
that's the
that
thing.
makes
It's
a
like,
lot of sense.
I
I'm
very
actually pretty sure
clearly,
you and I are
I
right.
very clearly
Okay.
remember there being a file size limit, but I thought it was a lot bigger than that. I thought it was 2 gigs.
I think at the time, I'm going to see if I remember this correctly before you give the answer. I'm pretty sure the limit was 25.
Wow.
And then they doubled
That's
it because
super
it was
small.
Symphony of the GD Night.
All right.
Okay.
And 64 sounds logical because there were, remember, 64 meg memory cards
Yeah. Yep.
back
Yep.
then, so the games could fit on a memory card. But it was, in fact, 50 megs.
Oh, thank God.
Wow. Gentlemen.
I was right
I
on
just
the,
want to keep like in the running.
I was right
Sean
on the
fall-
25 thing, right?
Sean
Bring up
falling
the rear.
further behind.
It's okay.
Mitch now with 10
Stick
points.
around for a late surge.
Sean with just 6. The shark getting chomped on.
Having a bite taken out of
Where am I
my
at?
games knowledge.
Destin at 9 points. just
Catching
behind
up, Mitch.
Yeah.
You're
behind me.
gonna have to do a work thing, and that's what I'm gonna pull out.
I'll phone into this podcast. I don't care. I'm never giving up the lead.
If you would like a chance to win a very good video game, be it The Witcher or maybe a copy of Master Chief Collection, I've got some Smite codes as
God,
well.
there's so many Smite codes.
Yeah, it's great. I want to thank everybody for sending those in. Send your Xbox-related trivia question. Include 4 multiple choice answers and note the correct one. Send that where, Mitch?
Unlocked at IGN.com.
Brilliant. Let's get out of here, plug some
Indeed.
stuff. First up, IGN Prime. I'd like to remind everybody, with E3 coming up, you're going to be watching a lot of IGN, clicking on a lot of IGN. IGN Prime, for $30, will not only get you free games and some beta access to cool games from time to time, but each and every day, it will get you a virtually ad-free experience, no ads before videos, and pretty much none on the homepage either when you're clicking through to articles. It's $30 a year, super worth it just for that, and it helps keep the lights on, helps keep the show going. You can subscribe anytime at ign.com/prime. Destin Legary,
Yes.
what are you working on that we should be checking out?
Fallout stuff.
Yes.
Check out the Rewind Theater that we did.
You
check
went
out the
frame by
trailer.
frame.
Yeah, we went pretty much frame by frame. We sat at my desk, then we take notes, and then we do a little bit of research. Yeah.
No, you do a lot of research.
I didn't have to because I know the games pretty well. So yeah.
Ooh, just laying it down.
Yeah. So yeah, check that out. There's a lot of really cool details that we picked up on having gone through it at a slower pace.
Yes.
Really excited about that. And then just top 10 that I'm working on. I don't want to reveal it yet. But
Sure,
yeah.
of course. If I can't name my dog, by the way, in Fallout 4, that game gets a 0 out of 10.
Dog meat. Dog meat out of 10.
Dog me. That's the only answer. Yeah.
Sean Finnegan.
Check out the History of Awesome. It's a series that we've been doing on IGN that I've been producing. We're 4 or 5 episodes in now, I can't remember, but it goes up weekly. We started with 1977, are going all the way up to 2015, detailing all of the really cool nerd stuff that's kind of influenced geek culture.
Yes.
Starting with 77 and Star Wars and going on up until now. Every Wednesday, so those episodes are up, and I'll be on an episode very soon.
Yeah,
so
they cover
stay
cool
tuned.
stuff like games, movies,
Yeah.
books,
Comics.
graphic novels.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've
so
been on
it's
a couple of them.
Yeah, it's a neat mix of all of the stuff that kind of like makes up the culture of IGN and just geekdom in general. So
Awesome.
that's all really cool stuff. Follow me on Twitter at I'm Finnegan and add me up on Xbox Live Finnegan space II. I've been playing a lot of Destiny lately, and you need a crew to run that game. So if you want to play, send me a little note.
Nice.
Add me up, and we'll get you in there.
You can go swimming with the shark.
Yeah.
You can add me on Xbox Live at MitchyD, just MitchyD88. We can play some Pool Nation FX together. Woo! I'm on Twitter at MitchyD, and check out my Heroes of the Storm review going live this week. The review in progress
That's right.
is live.
Wait. We didn't go over the
The free stuff.
games with gold.
Pool Nation FX is back.
No, this is not a rerun. You're not listening to episode 194.
In addition, you should definitely check out Massive Chalice. I wasn't kidding. That game's really cool. It's free. It's a isometric strategy game similar to XCOM with some really, really interesting dynastic leadership stuff where you have a lineage with your family that lasts years and years and years, many generations. It's really cool.
Pool Nation is weird.
Pool Nation FX. It's got a really
I
great
wasn't paying
dynastic
attention,
leveling
so I
system.
realized you
and-
weren't talking about
Yeah.
Pool Nation.
Just Cause 2 is your Xbox 360 game for the first half of the month, and then on June 16th, it switches over to Thief on Xbox 360.
Good stuff all around there.
Just cause, get that one.
Go.ign.com/houseparty. Come get drunk with us at this all ages show.
Yeah, that's the other thing is one more plug for that, right? We're all going to be there. A lot of people are going to be there from IGN, not just the Unlocked and Beyond crews. It's going to be a whole day of awesome content, so buy your ticket now.
Good stuff. You can
Seriously,
follow.
they might sell out.
Well, maybe by the time this
They
airs.
were selling really fast yesterday.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan, talking Fallout, talking whatever else is going on each and every day. I am working on the feature with Destin, 11 things we want in Fallout 4. It's going to be both a written article and a video, so whichever flavor you prefer. That's going to be fun. I'm also, again, reviewing ODST is in Master Chief Collection. And I'm working on reviewing Carmageddon Reincarnation as well, which is currently not coming to Xbox. I'm reviewing the PC version, which is the only version that exists, but I'm very happy to have Carmageddon back. It's, car combat goodness with points for running over pedestrians. So how can you go wrong with that? And then, of course, as I said, next week we'll have some more details on. I've lined up a very, very special guest that I'm super excited about, who will sit in with me, and of course our hosts, Damon and Max Scoville, as we do our Xbox press conference pre-show with our predictions and our post-show reactions. It's someone that has a lot of their name means a lot in the Xbox community, so I'm stoked that they're going to be joining us.
Master Chief. The real one.
Well, Ryan, what did you think of my game? I guess it was fine. You probably could squish me, so I'll say
Yeah.
it's really good.
I need a weapon.
to shoot you with. Whoa, all right, it was great, okay? 10 out of 10, just leave me alone. All right, let's hit the road. Most of you listen to the show on iTunes, but of course, we're video episodes each and every week. Hi, if you're watching. Help us. You can get those on IGN.com proper or IGN's YouTube, or better yet, our Xbox One app. Just watch it there. That's probably the easiest and best place to watch it, as well as all of our E3 coverage. Just fire that app up, because hint, hint, there are no ads on it right now. Watch E3 on there. Until
I did not know that. That's great.
Until that changes. So yeah, big screen, HD, us, E3, video games, good times. For the Shark, Sean Finnegan, the Fallout Master. I don't know,
Pride of the Sunset.
Pride of the Sunset.
Yeah.
That's
I don't even live
You
there.
don't even
I haven't
live
lived
there
there for
anymore,
over
yeah.
a year.
It doesn't matter.
and the best Canadian ever, Mitch Dyer. My name's Ryan McCaffrey. This was Podcast Unlocked, episode 198. We'll see you next week for 199, then we'll see you at E3, and then we'll see you here in San Francisco live for the IGN House Party and Unlocked episode 200 and beyond. 400.
Super stoked.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
See you next week.